Your Excellency, now we're almost a year into the war, and you spoke about the current implications of the conflict, but can you elaborate on the expected long-term consequences of this war on Lebanon's GDP based on the current projections?
Well, the biggest concern is that, as we said, the economy itself, the entire infrastructure of the financial system and economic system in Lebanon before the war started a year ago was in total collapse. We were, as you know, working with the IMF on a potential deal backed up by governmental reforms, economic reforms, banking and financial restructuring. Not all of that has happened. 75% of that has not happened due to the political tensions and turmoil in Lebanon. And that is very unfortunate because we did all our best to try to accomplish an IMF deal. We were talking about growth in 2023. We were hoping that we would have 2.5% to 3% growth in 2023. See any growth. On the contrary, we went back. GDP has been terribly affected. And now, again, as I said, with massive unemployment, with destruction of major areas that are considered agricultural, farmlands, and industrial, that will be a big hit on the long term for the Lebanese economy. That is why I emphasize on the efforts that are being done between Lebanon, the Arab states, and the United States on an immediate ceasefire, because the economy definitely cannot handle an extension of this war. If the longer this war goes, the deeper the economy dives, the more we go into the unknown as far as the GDP, growth, anything you can imagine.
Mm-hmm. So now you've mentioned about 1 million Lebanese citizens have been displaced. Now, how is the government planning to address the needs of the displaced population?
So we had today, we're having on a daily basis, the emergency ministerial committee is meeting with the donor countries, is meeting with the United Nations, is meeting with diplomatic missions in Lebanon to focus now on providing aid. And we have received, I would say, very, very good response so far. We are hoping that we would see more contribution, particularly from the European Union, to this crisis in Lebanon. Specifically, that everybody knows that Lebanon has not yet lifted itself from a 12-year war in Syria that already placed in Lebanon over 2 million Syrian refugees, not to mention the Palestinian refugees that we've had here for decades since the conflict between Israel and Palestine started. So we're talking about a serious crisis. We're talking about, as I mentioned when we started this interview, we are a nation in serious crisis. Today, we need all the support that we can get from the international community, because it's not just that we need to save now and provide for the displaced people. We are still dealing with millions of refugees from Syria, from Palestine, from other places. And no country in the size of Lebanon that was witnessing an economic meltdown could really tolerate all that pressure. It's very, very, very difficult.
So you've mentioned earlier the effect of the crisis it has on food and agro production. Now, what sort of efforts are being made to support the farmers and the agricultural sector in general during this crisis?
Well, there's not much that the government can do, particularly in the areas that have been completely contaminated and bombed using the phosphorus bombs that Israel has been using, because those kinds of bombs basically contaminate all the farmland. They kill everything. They kill everything that has life. And those areas, we're talking about massive areas of lands. They are all need rehabilitation. They need years of work to bring them back to life, to be able to farm them again, to be able to harvest them again. And that is a long process. It will cost a lot of money and it will take a lot of time. So now the reliance will be shifting more from the Bekaa and the south into the agricultural sector and to the farmers of the north of Lebanon, which as well are not entirely in the safe zone. We have seen some escalation that has reached certain areas within the north part of Lebanon or Mount Lebanon. Very few, but it creates a big concern on the longer term if this war is to escalate. So the agricultural sector and the farmers in Lebanon are going to face a long time for healing and for getting back on track.
Mm-hmm. Now, one last quick question, Your Excellency. Speaking of assistance, what kind of aid has Lebanon received so far, and from whom, and what more does Lebanon need to confront the current crisis?
So first, our needs are very big. I mean, if I tell you we need everything, I mean it. We need everything. I mean, you're talking today, a major crisis of 1 million people that are displaced. They need everything from food, shelter, hygiene. You need all the essentials and necessities for babies, for kids. You need energy. Everybody knows that electricity is a problem in Lebanon. So we're trying to get private generators to light up a lot of the areas where the people are being sheltered. We have a water crisis now, and the WHO is now raising an alarm that if those conditions continue to grow within the next few weeks, we will be having a serious wave of sick people, diseases spreading around, garbage problem in the streets. So if I say, again, as I said, if we say we need everything, we need everything at this moment. That's why we're sending a big message to the world. Lebanon needs your help. Lebanon needs your support in order to be able to get through this very harsh time. And this the number of displaced people is an unprecedented number in any country in the world that has happened within less than a week.